These days, projects seem to have a level of status that is talismanic. The way to get things done is through projects. Ergo, if we call it a project, it means it's legitimate and achievable. Unfortunately, just because you call something a project doesn't mean it is a project. We've all experienced projects that aren't projects. The glitzy initiative that doesn't have a business case but is simply a stroke to the boss's vanity. Or the much trumpeted change initiative that doesn't have any budget. And then there are those projects that are masquerading. The transformational merger that is nothing more than an exercise in cost-cutting. And those projects that start off as genuine but then run out of steam, so rather as a boat with a broken rudder, they simply sail around in circles consuming resources because no one knows how to stop them. There is very little in this world that can be defined as brute reality. The fact that gravity means when we drop a piece of toast, it will fall to the ground is brute reality. But the fact that we all know that it will fall jam side down is part of how we use language and storytelling to shape the world around us. And whether or not a project is down to what Nick Enfield in his brilliant book, Language versus Reality, calls a social reality. In other words, it is only a project because we agree it is indeed a project. And that means we then treat it as a project and work together with others to manage it as such. Which means that if you want to know whether what you are working on is a project, there is only one way to be sure. And that is ask your stakeholders. Do they think it is a genuine, legitimate project or something else altogether? Which brings me to Human-Centric Data, HCD, a process for gathering and sharing small amounts of data at every progress meeting, on how your delivery team or wider stakeholders perceive the project and what they believe and feel about the project. Human-centric data enables you to find out whether your project has a clear mission or not, whether people feel it is achievable or not. And you can map the two ratings against each other. You can discover how uncertain and ambiguous your project is likely to be, and, just as importantly, whether those delivering it have the requisite tolerance for uncertainty, which they'll need to succeed. Or you can find out whether your project feels psychologically safe and has a level of consensus, or the opportunity to discuss differences, or is actually more of a minefield for anyone unlucky enough to be tasked with working on it. The ratings can cover anything from levels of cognitive bias to whether the project is genuinely collaborative, whether it is inclusive, and whether it is sustainable. And you can use free text questions to get both insightful answers to key questions about the project and generate a visual representation of the sentiment of those involved. It looks as if the project from which we generated this particular image left the delivery team feeling decidedly cold. Feelings, beliefs, and perceptions are what give your project its identity. Remember, this will be what drives everyone's behaviour. If you think about it, you've got a far better chance of delivering the outcome you are looking for if everyone knows what it is you are dealing with. Talk to us at Team Animation about setting you up with a one-off rating that you can use to gather human-centric data from your people, and you'll see what it means to have a team that understands and believes in what you are doing versus one that feels you are simply tilting at windmills.